Think about the last time a woman approached you first, not because she needed directions, not because she was being polite, but because something about you pulled her in, and she couldn't resist. For most guys, that moment never happened, or it happened so rarely they remember the exact day it did. And the reason isn't what they think, it's not their height. It's not because they don't have the perfect jawline, it's not because they don't have millions in their bank account, it's because they have been playing defense their entire lives. They have been working so hard on not messing up, not saying the wrong thing, not coming off as weird, not getting rejected, that they completely forgot to become someone worth approaching in the first place. They optimized for not losing instead of learning how to win. I used to be that guy, painfully aware of every social mistake I made, running post-match analysis in my head after every conversation, convinced that if I could just stop saying the wrong things, people would start liking me. But that's not how it works. Removing bad habits doesn't make you magnetic, it just makes you less annoying. There is a massive difference between the two. So today we are not talking about what to stop doing, we are talking about what to start becoming. 5 specific shifts that flip the dynamic entirely, from you chasing attention to you becoming the kind of man that attention chases. Let's dive in. Shift 1. Stop being a reaction machine. Most guys walk into a room and immediately become a product of it. If the energy is tense, they get tense. If the conversation is boring, they get boring. If someone is cold toward them, they become insecure. They are not living, they are reacting. And nothing kills attraction faster than a man who has no emotional gravity of his own. So here is the shift. You have to stop being a thermometer and start being a thermostat. A thermometer reads the temperature of the room. A thermostat sets it. This is not about being fake or performing some character. It is about making a decision before you walk into any room, any conversation, any date, about what energy you're bringing. Calm, warm, grounded, playful, and then holding that energy regardless of what the room throws at you. The practical way to build this is through what I call the 10-second reset. Before you enter any social situation, stop for 10 seconds. Take one slow breath. Ask yourself, what is the one word that describes how I want to show up right now? Confident, easy, present? Pick one, feel it, and then walk in. It sounds almost too simple, but the difference between a man who owns a room and a man who is owned by it usually comes down to exactly this. One of them decided how they were going to feel before the interaction started. The other one just showed up and hoped for the best. Women do not approach reaction machines. They approach men who seem to exist independently of their environment. Men who have their own gravity, but having that gravity means nothing if you keep giving it away the moment you open your mouth. Which brings us to the next shift. Shift 2, the art of deliberate scarcity. Why do we find things more valuable when they are hard to get? It's not a coincidence, it's psychology. The brain is wired to assign higher value to things that are rare. Limited edition, one of a kind, hard to access. This is called scarcity bias, and it applies to people just as much as it applies to products. The problem is that most guys do the exact opposite. They are available for everyone, all the time. They laugh at every joke, even the ones that aren't funny. They agree with everything, even when they don't. They reply instantly, show up immediately, and make it crystal clear that their attention costs absolutely nothing. And when something costs nothing, people stop valuing it. Deliberate scarcity is not about playing games or being cold. It is about actually having standards for where your attention goes. Not every joke deserves your laugh. Not every opinion deserves your agreement. Not every invitation deserves an immediate yes. When you genuinely filter who and what gets your energy, something changes in how people perceive you. Your attention starts to feel like something worth earning. Your approval becomes something people actually want because they can tell it is not handed out freely. The simplest way to practice this today is the following. Next time someone says something that does not genuinely make you laugh, don't perform a laugh. Just smile slightly and move on. That one small act of authenticity does more for your status than 100 perfectly crafted jokes. But here is the dangerous mistake most guys make once they understand scarcity. They become cold. They become withholding. They confuse being scarce with being uninterested. And that kills the whole thing, because scarcity without warmth is just arrogance. The real power is in combining the two, which is exactly what the next shift is about. Shift 3. Weaponize your warmth. There is a guy in every friend group who can say absolutely anything and get away with it. He teases people relentlessly. He disagrees openly. He pushes back without apology. And somehow, instead of people getting offended, they love him for it. The reason is not his words, it's the warmth underneath them. Warmth is the most underrated weapon in social dynamics. Not niceness. Niceness is performative, it comes from fear, and people see through it instantly. Warmth is different. Warmth is the genuine signal that you actually like the person you're talking to, that you're enjoying the interaction, that you are safe. When warmth is present, you can get away with almost anything socially. You can tease without it feeling like an attack. You can disagree without it feeling like rejection. You can be scarce without it feeling like coldness. Warmth is the foundation that makes every other charisma skill work. And the key to radiating warmth is embarrassingly simple. Unmute your positive thoughts. We all have them. You notice someone's great energy and say nothing. You think a story is genuinely funny, but hold back the laugh to look cool. You want to tell someone their idea is interesting but stay silent because it might come off as too eager. All of that is warmth on mute. From now on, if you think something positive about the person in front of you, say it. Not manufactured compliments, real observations. You have a really interesting way of seeing that. That story was actually hilarious. I like that you said that, most people wouldn't. These small acts of verbal warmth do something neurological. They trigger oxytocin, the bonding hormone, in the person receiving them. They feel genuinely seen, and when someone makes you feel seen, your brain marks them as important, as someone worth paying attention to. Warmth makes you magnetic, but warmth without edge makes you a pushover. And pushover is the one thing that guarantees nobody will ever catcall you, which is why the next shift might be the most important one on this list. Shift 4. Develop a spine in public. If you agree with everything, you are not easygoing, you are invisible. There is a specific type of guy, most of us have been him at some point, who floats through social situations like a social chameleon. He matches whatever energy is in the room. He agrees with whoever he is talking to. He has no opinions that might create friction, no positions that might cause discomfort, no edges that might push back. He thinks he is being likable, but he is actually being forgettable. Attraction, real attraction, the kind that makes someone approach a stranger, requires polarity. It requires the sense that there is a real person on the other side of the conversation, someone with an inner world that is strong enough to push back against external pressure. You cannot be attracted to a mirror. You cannot be fascinated by an echo. Developing a spine in public means learning to hold your ground calmly and warmly when you genuinely see something differently. It means saying, "I actually disagree with that," without dropping the smile. It means not laughing at things that are not funny, not validating opinions you do not believe in, and not changing your position the second someone pushes back. The magic phrase is, "I see it differently." No aggression, no lecture, just a quiet signal that you have an inner world and it does not bend to whoever is in the room. Women do not approach men they can predict. They approach men who feel like they might actually surprise them. Be that man. And once you have the warmth and the spine and the gravity, there is one final shift that pulls everything together and makes you genuinely unforgettable. Shift 5. Make them the most interesting person in the room. Every guy that tries to impress a woman is doing the same thing. He is talking about himself, his job, his travels, his ambitions, his opinions. He is auditioning. He is trying to build a case for why he is worth her attention. And she has seen this audition 1,000 times. She can finish his sentences before he starts them. The man who stops auditioning and starts directing is the one she cannot stop thinking about. Directing means this: instead of trying to be the most interesting person in the conversation, you make her feel like she is. You ask the question nobody else thought to ask. You notice the detail she mentioned 3 minutes ago and come back to it. You give her the rarest social gift that exists: your full, undivided, genuinely curious attention. The tool for this is what I call the one layer deeper technique. Every answer someone gives you has a surface level and a real level. I'm a designer. That's the surface. But why did she choose design? What does she love about it that she can never explain to people who don't get it? What would she do if she could not do design anymore? That is the real level, and almost nobody ever asks for it. When you go one layer deeper, when you ask the question that gets to the why, the feeling, the identity behind the answer, something shifts in the conversation. She stops being on autopilot. She starts actually talking to you, and by the end, she has told you things she did not plan on saying, felt things she did not plan on feeling, and connected with you in a way that felt effortless. She will not remember exactly what you said. She will remember that talking to you felt like finally being heard. And the man who makes a woman feel genuinely heard, seen, and interesting in a world full of men performing for her attention is the man she approaches first. The full picture. Let's recap the 5 shifts. Shift 1. Stop reacting to the room. Set the temperature. Be the thermostat. Shift 2. Practice deliberate scarcity. Make your attention worth earning. Shift 3. Weaponize your warmth. Unmute the positive thoughts. Shift 4. Develop a spine in public. Hold your ground warmly and calmly. Shift 5. Make her the most interesting person in the room. Go one layer deeper. None of these are tricks. None of them require you to become someone you are not. They just require you to stop shrinking, stop performing, and start actually showing up as a complete person. One with warmth, with edges, with gravity, and with genuine curiosity for the people in front of you. That is the man women approach. That is the man people remember. That is the man who does not have to chase, because he has become someone worth chasing. But in order to become that man, you have to know where your starting point is. This is why we built the Charisma Score test. It's completely free and takes under 3 minutes. After completing the test, you know your exact charisma score as well as your charisma tier. The link is in the description.